Buckle up, America, because President Trump is making glorious, epic history, and bookmark this. I am telling you right now, I truly believe our $35+ trillion deficit that has been run up astronomically by this abysmal administration of vegetable-in-chief Biden and the phony-in-chief cackling Kamala is going to be transformed into a surplus. I am going to lay out for you these groundbreaking, absolutely historic picks that President Trump made today and late last night for his cabinet. Holy macadamia nut. Let's just jump right into it. So you can see on the picture right now on the screen, the Department of Government Efficiency was officially announced by the Trump administration and Donald Trump himself, appointing Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to cut the government's expenditures, overspending, unbelievable bureaucratic nightmare expenditures that has already run up the taxpayer trillions and trillions of dollars. You can see this glorious announcement that was official last night coming from the Trump-Vance team. He is calling this, in that second paragraph right there, the Manhattan Project of our time. Republican politicians have dreamed about the objectives of DOGE, otherwise known as the Department of Government Efficiency, for a very, very long time. They already have an official account on X with the gray verified check mark, making it a government official X account. By the way, follow me on X because I'm Professor Nez everywhere, but X is literally the last bastion of free speech in the online ecosphere, and I would highly recommend that you follow me there. I post a lot on X, formerly known as Twitter, that I can't post anywhere else. The link's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description, or just open up your X account, Twitter account, and literally just type in Professor Nez. I have a verified badge, and follow me right there. So this is an absolute groundbreaking moment in the history of America. As I said at the early outset, I think this is going to be one of those epic decisions made by a leader, specifically a leader of our great union, the United States of America. And this is something we're going to be reading about for history books, in the history books for thousands of years to come. You can tell your grandkids you were there when this took place. We are finally going to stop testing transgender monkeys, in Ecuador, spending $100 billion on that. This is the golden era, my fellow Americans. But wait, there's actually more. Lieutenant Colonel Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat, dedicated patriot, service member, served in our armed forces, left the Democratic Party, officially enlisting in the Republican Party, inspired by the MAGA movement, inspired by Donald Trump, inspired by, really, quite frankly, probably she was inspired because the Democrats are nothing but liars. They lie all the time, and they're a bunch of nasty people, which is why I watch Professor Nez. I don't watch the fake news. They're all fake news except for Professor Nez. You gotta subscribe. He's a great guy, and he's not a nasty person like Kamala or Joe Screeching, criminal, creepy, crooked Joe. I love Professor. Thank you, Mr. President. I love you so much. Tulsi Gabbard just got tapped to be the National Director of Intelligence. What do you think about that? Senator Marco Rubio was tapped to be the Secretary of State, probably one of the most consequential positions in the cabinet. I think that's a really good thing. This guy is somebody who was born in Miami. He comes from two Cuban immigrant parents pursuing the American dream. And I think the cool thing is his parents and his family lineage understands the horror and the absolute tyranny of communism. And I think he's been a real staunch fighter. He was really gritty during those presidential elections back in 2016, the primaries, where he was fighting against Trump and everybody else. I thought he did a really, really good job. The little water thing when he was, picked to be the representative for the Republicans to respond to President Obama. I know that was a little bit kind of lame, but I think this is overall a great pick. This is a strong fighter. He's learned a lot. He is American made. He's pulled himself up from his own bootstraps, comes from immigrant family, just like myself. And I think that he's a great choice for Secretary of State. Again, everything comes down from the boss, Donald Trump. So it's not like he's going to be like a rogue Secretary of State. Trump is picking people strategically that align with his objectives, his initiatives, and his promises that he made to the American people. He's literally looking for people. And I truly believe this second time around, I think the first time around, he really was walking into a sort of a very, very uncertain, unknown, unfamiliar territory, very shaky ground. He didn't know exactly how Washington works. He's much smarter now. He's much wiser now. He's more experienced now. And I truly believe after what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, he is touched by the hand of God. He knows it. We know it. The American people know it. You know it. And everybody that voted for him knows it, which is why he won the popular vote. And I think he's directed by a higher source, a higher power, and God is guiding him with all these decisions, and I trust him 100%. Remember, this is the guy who wrote The Art of the Deal. This is the guy whose probably strongest characteristic, which is why we had so much respect back in 2016 when he was running things, his first term. This is a guy who understands negotiations, understands communications. His greatest attribute is being able to deal with people, connect with people. We need that in a leader. We need that against people like Putin, the Ayatollahs. We need that with people like Kim Jong-un. We need that with President Xi of China, etc., etc. Let me know in the comments what you think so far about these few picks. Tulsi Gabbard, Department of Government Efficiency. I still can't believe this is actually a real thing. Of course, the Senate has to confirm all of these. We have the majority in the Senate. Anything can happen. But this isn't even the most alarming. This is even the most shocking pick. Wait till you get a load of this. Literally just a few 10, 15 minutes ago as of this recording, the President of the United States, President-elect Donald Trump, just announced that his Attorney General is going to be Matt Gaetz from Florida. If you can believe that. This is a decision that left one Republican senator mouth agape in a complete disarray, obviously probably a rhino. There wasn't really a clear-cut testimony as to who that was, but left his jaw on the ground and has sent shockwaves, even more so than the Department of Government Efficiency led by Vivek and Elon. This pick by Matt Gaetz, this pick by Donald Trump to pick Matt Gaetz is absolutely sending a huge sonic boom through the hallways, byways of the swamp in D.C. And I got to tell you something, my fellow Americans, I'm loving every second of it. This is a pick that is demonstrative of real, true, a la Theodore Roosevelt, the kind of balls we need back in our country, the kind of guts, the kind of grit, the kind of shakeup. We need a shakeup of the entire system. Vivek and Elon are going to do that. Tulsi Gabbard's going to do that. RFK Jr. is going to do that, which we really don't know what his kind of role in all this is. He'll probably be the czar of health, but I'll let you know. Stay tuned. And now Attorney General Matt Gaetz. I think this is phenomenal. And this clip I'm about to share with you right now, to me, exemplifies why I think so. Watch this.
It all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fonnie Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
If you make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No, and you didn't, because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't, because there's a federal rule
Oh.
barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant
Mr.
has
Attorney General,
indicated-
I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court?
Look, I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
Yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're
before
connecting the
another
dots,
court.
Mr. Attorney General.
Woo,
I'm just
trapped.
asking you as to a general
Got 'em.
principle. But you are
Got
aware
'em.
that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You
Wow.
are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with anything you just said, but I'm not going to comment on a.
Okay,
on an
so you
action
won't
in
comment on it,
another
Mr.
court.
Attorney General, but you had no problem dispatching Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Matthew Colangelo.
Matthew
That's
Colangelo,
false.
Matthew
False.
Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration. Without having been Senate confirmed, goes and gets this senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by
I'm
the
saying
DOJ.
it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
Well, do you know how he ended up there?
I assume he he applied for a job there and got the job.
But see, you know
I
what?
can tell
you know
you
what?
I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legal eagles to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him. And meanwhile, the judge is making money on it. The judge is making money on it, or the judge's family's making money on it for stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. You know,
Young, brash, full of conviction, full of balls, articulate, intelligent, and he's external from the swamp. He's not somebody who's been there for 50, 60 years, ensconced and embedded with, donor money and lobbyist money. Granted, I'm sure he's got some sort of connection, in as all politicians do. But this is the type of decision. This is why Donald Trump earned our vote. He is not going back to same old. Let's get back to things as they used to be. Let's bring back all the old people. No, fresh, new. This is exactly the kind of rebirth, the kind of resurrection, the kind of genuine freshness that our country needs. I've never felt more excited to be an American in my entire life. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. Last but certainly not least, we've got Pete Hegseth, nominated by President Trump to be Secretary of Defense. It's caused a complete liberal meltdown. The left has gone completely haywire. They will not acknowledge that he is an absolute diehard patriot, service member, served in our military. They only focus on him being a Fox News host, and they've done nothing but ridicule him. But I think that this selection from an actual combat veteran, I have so much respect for our military. I know his love of our country. I know his disdain for what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Israel, what's happening pretty much all over the world because of this abysmal administration. I think this is one of the greatest picks out of all of them, maybe even more shocking. I mean, one CNN reporter said that his source, one of the high commanders in the administration right now, Biden's administration, said it's a, quote, effing nightmare when they heard that Hegseth. That's enough confirmation for me. But I want to share a quick clip from Scott Jennings, who I love, and I know you do too, absolutely tearing the left for making fun of this amazing pick by Trump. Check this out.
Does anyone have confidence in the current leadership of the Pentagon and the way the defense situation has been operating for the last several years? I mean, from the Afghanistan pullout, which was an extreme debacle for which no one was held accountable. We've had spy balloons flying over the United States. We built a $300 million pier as a public relations stunt, which wound up killing an American service member. I'd say I've had just about enough of the so-called insiders running the Defense Department. I think we ought to give Pete Hegseth a chance
because he's got insiders.
All the criticism of him is that he's not the expected Washington pick. And I'm just saying to you that the American people just voted against the expected Washington pick. So he's got 20 years in service, Afghanistan, Iraq, 2 Bronze Stars, Princeton, Harvard. Yeah, he's on TV, but so are the rest of us.
By the way, I think he ought
that
to
list
you just gave is really interesting because you highlighted a bunch of things that the civilian leadership of the country decided on, and the military, their job was just to execute. They execute.
How did it go?
I'm just saying.
How did it go?
In terms of the decision making, you're assigning decision making responsibility to the military over things that civilians were responsible for.
So you make a good point. The civilian leadership made decisions, and then the people they put in charge of the Pentagon carried it out. And it was all pretty much a disaster. So now we have a new president who I think got elected in part because of some of those disasters, and he's going to put in some of the non-insiders in charge of not just this agency, but a bunch of them. Now, look, they've got to perform. They've got to perform. I mean, we got 53 U.S. senators that are Republicans, and Pete Hegseth, he's an American hero. The man won 2 Bronze Stars for his service, and he's been a champion for veterans. He's going to have to go up there just like everybody else and prove his knowledge of how to do this job. He's not immune from that, but we ought to give this man a chance, in my opinion.
Unbelievably eloquently articulated and said by Scott Jennings as usual. I echo and agree and parrot everything he said and vouch for it 100%. The people have spoken. The people don't want swampism. The people don't want Washington old school guardism. The people want brashness. They want sanity. They want practicality. They want money in their wallet. They want to be able to pay their mortgage, pay their rent, be able to take their kids on vacation, afford gas, afford groceries. They want Donald Trump and they want his vision. The American people have spoken. This is the first time a Republican president has won the popular vote since 2004, 2 decades, 20 years ago. I think these choices, and again, they have to be confirmed in the Senate. And that may be, a lot of people are already saying, Matt Gaetz, there's no way they're going to confirm him. We don't know. I'm going to live stream the whole thing, so you got to stay tuned. But the conviction of these choices, and I think the audacity, the beautiful, courageous audacity, I would like to call it, lends itself to what the American people want and is an absolute confirmation that Trump is following through with his promise to America. The fact that he created the Department of Government Efficiency and anointed Vivek and Elon Musk, he could have easily have just been like every other politician, be like, guys, I just used you to get votes. I just used you, Tulsi Gabbard, to get votes. No, he's giving her Director of National Intelligence. He's giving them real, concrete, substantive positions. God bless you, President Trump. He is carrying out the people's decision and the people's wants and desires. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on these picks. Please make it constructive. I want you guys to collaborate. I even welcome all opposing views, All personal ad hominem attacks, straight to spam. All links, straight to spam. I want conversation. And I really, really try to read all of them. So let's engage in real, healthy American down-home debate and discourse. Make it constructive. Make it fraught with critical thinking. And I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know, please. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, especially this one if you missed. We just posted that today. Tap my face right there to follow and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Your best bet is to sign up for our free newsletter in the pinned comment, show notes, and description so you never miss out. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.